different types of seal coat materials that we use here at the Naperville Park District. So as part of regular maintenance, district-wide asphalt parking lot and trail seal coating is handled using either a standard asphalt emulsion-based sealer or a non-emulsion bio-based sealer. Emulsion-based sealers are used on older parking lots and trails and generally requires reapplication every 3 years. Bio-based sealers cannot be used on asphalt previously sealed with emulsion-based sealers. It just will not adhere to the surfacing as well and is used on newer parking lots and trails. Parking lots and trails treated with bio-based sealer generally requires reapplication every 5 to 6 years. The schedule of sites of emulsion-based seal coating in 2021 includes Arrowhead Park parking lot, Ashbury Park parking lot trail, Commissioners Park East parking lot, and Pioneer Park parking lot, as well as trails at Tallgrass Greenway, Tallgrass Lakes, and Tallgrass Park. The schedule of sites for bio-based seal coating, so these are newer sites moving forward. This is what we're using for sealing asphalt surfacing. And 2021 includes Brook Crossings parking lot, Country Commons parking lot, East Greens parking lot, Frontier Sports Complex East parking lot, Knock Park Trail, Meadow Glens parking lot and trail, Nike Sports Complex East parking lot, and Winding Creek Park parking lot and trail. Pending contract approval, work is expected to occur throughout summer 2021 with the intent to minimize impacts to programming. So we'll be working closely with staff to ensure that these projects do not impact our existing or planned programs and activities at these sites throughout the summer.
Thank you. Any questions? No? Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Next, we have the 95th Center lease.
Yes, in December, the board approved addendum number 3 to the 95th Street Center lease, which extended the lease through 2021. And it also reduced the amount of square footage that we were leasing as part of that. As you may recall, last year, staff conducted a study looking at our spaces, how they were being utilized at the facility, and recommended that we actually reduce the lease down to 3 classrooms. 3 classrooms which actually have the greatest amount of programs taking place within them and have the greatest number of participants. Thereby eliminating several classroom spaces as well as the reception office that we have on the 2nd floor. In working with the property owner at the time, he had suggested that the Park District remain in the additional 2nd floor classroom spaces and the reception office, but only pay for the 3 classroom spaces that were part of that lease. Since that time, he has a tenant that is interested in actually leasing a good portion of the 2nd floor, which would be 2 of the classrooms that we had initially planned to remove from the lease, as well as the reception office. And he has asked if the Park District would be willing to amend the lease again so that at the end of August, it would get us through the summer season. We would then reduce down to the 3 classrooms. The property owner has been really great to work with. We would support moving forward with that change to the lease and intend to bring a change to the board at the May meeting.
Any questions of Brad?
President Riley, the Parks and Rec Committee did take this item up, and a couple of us were there, and I think we agreed that the building owner or landlord has been more than fair and accommodating with the district, and we felt that this request was reasonable.
Good, thank you. Anything else?
And just to add one more thing, the reception office, because I know that there have been some questions regarding customer service in that area of the community. The intent was that we would increase the customer service hours at the Knock Knolls Nature Center in South Naperville, and that would be the plan here, is to increase our customer service hours there to continue to have a south side registration office location.
Okay, any other questions? Thanks, Brad. I'll move on to department updates. First is administration.
No report tonight.
Thank you. Next, finance. And Sue always has a report.
Good evening. Okay, so right now it's a little bit of a slow time for us. We are doing our normal accounting work, wrapping up the final audit. That'll be coming in front of the board within probably in a couple meetings. Everything went very well there. No audit adjustments, again, or management letter comments. And you recall this is with our new auditors. So that went well. On the payroll side, we're busy with onboarding all the new hires that we have after they run through the whole HR process. Then we're, on the back end working through that. And then lastly, the new golf software. again, on the reporting and back end side, we're working and getting familiar with how that software is working as, golf is geared up and using the new system. That's it.
Any questions for Sue? Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, golf. Kevin.
Thank you. The golf season now is in full gear, and we've been very busy the past few weeks, continuing to see the strong demand we saw last year, and we've certainly been benefited by some really nice spring weather. Our season reserve tee times began this past weekend at both courses with 212 participants. They're purchasing their permanent tee times for Saturday and Sunday mornings. And the 212 participants is about a 5% increase of what we saw from compared to last year. We had our first tournament of the season, our partner Best Ball, on April 10th at Naperbrook. The event sold out in a matter of days and with a full field of 132 participants. Unfortunately, it was one of the few days we did not have nice weather. We had cold temps and rainy conditions, and a number of people withdrew, but over 100 players still braved the conditions, and overall, it was a successful event. Looking forward, our programming is just beginning now. We started several of our golf programs with the majority of our April and May golf programs currently full. We're seeing high demand already for the summer junior camps and clinics, with many of those programs full or close to capacity. In March, our rounds and range were well ahead of expectations with the better weather, and our demand continued to be strong. Our round totals were more than double the average of our past 5 seasons, and the range totals in March were more than 3 times higher our 5-year average. The merchandise and concession sales were also strong and well ahead of budget. Our memberships continue to be strong. We saw a 25% increase in our Brooks Links memberships for the year, and the Brooks Advantage card sales have nearly doubled our 5-year average through March. Overall, staff is very pleased with our strong start, and all the indicators so far are continuing to show positive signs.
Very good. Any questions for Kevin? Marit?
Yeah. The Golfpalooza, how did it go?
Golfpalooza went very well. We had about 87 participants. We had a sign up originally with 90 players or 90 people coming out for that. And we broke them up into separate groups where we had kids at one station on the driving range, another on the chipping green, and another on the practice putting green. It worked out really nice with the smaller groups. We were able to have the professionals giving instruction and working with the kids individually. And overall, a very successful day.
Very good. Thank you. Anything else? Thanks, Kevin. Next, human resources.
Wait, what?
We're okay with the button.
Yeah.
Good evening. The Human Resources Department is currently coordinating the development of orientation onboarding materials for our newly elected commissioners in conjunction with all of the departments across the district. We're also preparing for the May 8th Community Job Fair with Kids Matter. We were originally going to have the job fair in January as we had the previous year, but COVID got in the way. So this year it is being held in the overflow parking lot here at Fort Hill. It's going to be outdoors. Yeah. Had to come up with something, and this was the best opportunity. We're hoping for some good weather. We are also hopeful that we can get back to the January timeframe in 2022, and we're tentatively looking at January 8th. The job fair will run from 10 to 1, and we're anticipating about 13 employers are going to be participating. So if you know of anyone, please send them that way on Saturday, May 8th. And we're also assisting all of our summer operations programs and facilities with their recruitment needs as we get close to really flipping the switch and looking forward to summer. Thank you.
Any questions?
If the weather is bad, will we move that inside, or we'll just cancel it or postpone it, or?
Yeah, it'll be outside, so if it's really bad, it would be canceled.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, information technology, DJ Omar.
I won't say what my actual nickname is. So I apologize ahead of time, but I have quite a bit to communicate / share. As you've heard, as the district starts to move forward into whatever version of the new normal is, which I hate that phrase, as I'm sure most of you do by now. Work has begun to prepare software and hardware needs for our larger and smaller operations. An example would be, the Riverwalk Cafe, Centennial Beach, Centennial Grill. This also includes setting up all the access and resources for those seasonal employees. So, examples again, parks, recreation, police, to name a few. So while this work is going on, we're also attempting to finish a lot of our project work. Two of those larger projects are switching over the ISP, the Internet Service Provider at the admin building, as well as Knocknalls Nature Center. We just got word about a week ago that those design plans have been they're in the permit process, essentially. So there'll be more to come for that. And finally, you should have all received the mandatory email phishing/hacking email training communication. Recently, we've seen a huge increase from compromised emails from other park districts, school districts, and municipalities. Our goal is to basically use this as a screening to identify those individuals who might need additional training. Now, and some of the stuff that's not necessarily widely known is that on any given day, our email systems block between 75 and 85% of incoming email that is marked as not legitimate email. And that's for, utilizing our system. So today, in fact, we had a guy, well, I say a guy because they used a male name, but they tried to contact some of our staff posing as a newly elected official. Now, it wasn't anybody who actually was newly elected, but because everything's posted online, they have the opportunity to say, hey, I'm a new commissioner. And the email read, hi, staff member. I added staff member. I didn't want people's names out there. I'm planning to surprise some of the staff with gifts for their hard work, diligence, perseverance, dedication to our company. Your confidentiality and covertness will be appreciated. However, I need you to accomplish this purchase. Email me once you get this, okay? It's laughable. However, they did put regards and then a random name, which I won't say because it had questionable search results. And then they put board member at the bottom. So, one of the things that we have in place here that's really helpful is that we know that communication from the board goes to Ray and then it comes to us, right? However, you might ask yourself, how do these guys find all this information? Well, we, just like any other public agency, we incur security holes through transparency because every memo, every agenda, every board approved purchase, et cetera, is posted online as it should be and made accessible. But however, it's at the cost of valuable information because all of our contact information is found there. So, right now, more than ever, I just, ask that the board and all our staff I know are on high alert. We just practice, good cyber, practices personally and professionally. P.S. Nobody fell for that, by the way. So just wanted to say that.
Any questions for Omar?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, marketing and communication, Samira.
Good evening. I've got 3 updates for this evening for you. I'm going to start with the fee assistance program. So we're trying restaurant fundraisers again. And if you'll remember, late in 2018 through 2019, this is something that we tried in order to generate funds for the fee assistance program. Had a little bit of mixed results, but what we're doing is instead of having one every month, or sometimes we had a couple in a month, which I feel it kind of got to be a little much, we're going to start with having them quarterly. And we're going to start with the ones that were the most successful. So we've got our next restaurant fundraiser on May 11th planned for Lou Malnati's. So we'll see how that goes. More information is on napervilleparks.org. Also related to the fee assistance program, new this year, we're going to be introducing QR code signage at our events. And we've got a lot of summer events that are planned, concerts in your park, movies, a whole bunch of different things. And we're going to have signage out that has a QR code and a little bit of information about the fee assistance program, and people can click on the QR code and donate if they wish. The hope is that they'll learn about the fee assistance program, feel compelled to donate. Maybe they had a great time, they want to give a little back. So we're going to see how that goes throughout the summer and fall events. Next, I've got a sponsorship update for you. In the past several weeks, we have installed hopscotch sidewalk decals at Fort Hill as well as 95th Street. Hopefully you've had a chance to see them for yourselves. We've actually got the one that's right out here on the sidewalk. Maybe you've had a chance to try it out. I won't tell. But it's really kind of a cool and visible way to recognize different advertisers. We've got two right now, Great Western Flooring and Great Lakes Credit Union. And there's been a lot of buzz about it in the community. A lot of people have been really excited about it. So we're looking to add more throughout our sports complexes and throughout the district. Additionally, as seen in the board packet memo from April 9th, our first quarter sponsorship revenue is trending in a positive direction for Q1, coming in at $176,500, which is a 3.6% increase over Q1 of 2020. So we're moving in a good direction with that. Yes, do you have a question? Oh, I'm sorry. And then lastly, I just wanted to give a reminder on the summer program guide. It's coming up. We're finishing production this week. It will be online at napervilleparks.org/program guides on April 28th. Yes, April 28th. And then the first day of registration is May 3rd with fall soccer registration starting May 18th. Any
Hey,
questions?
any question? No. Thanks, Mayor. Next, Park Police. Chief.
All right, good evening. We are currently in the process. We've hired the 4 new officers that I spoke of previously, all with significant previous experience. They're currently completing their mandatory training and should be transitioning into the actual field training program probably in the next couple of 3 weeks. In addition to that, we're looking to hire as many as 4 Park Service officers. We'll be conducting our interviews with them next week. Again, as we prepare for the opening of Centennial Beach, whatever that might look like. We continue to ramp up our presence in the evenings and during the day on weekends. We are continuing to work with the city police to vet any proposed rallies or protests. And as of now, we have nothing slated anytime soon. And lastly, we're preparing for the return of special events and our tournaments as COVID restrictions are modified. Yes, sir.
Ray?
Steve, could you mention the training that we all just went through?
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough to have participated in cultural sensitivity training, which was taught by a gentleman by the name of Carter Larry. He's a retired commander from the Bolingbrook Police Department. It was an 8-hour class, and it was arguably one of the best classes that we had been to. This gentleman was able to facilitate and generate a considerable amount of conversation regarding the topic of bias. And it was well received by, there was 21 of us, I think, that attended it. So all but 2 of the people that work for me were able to make it to the class.
Very good. Anything else? No? Thank you.
Okay.
Next, Parks.
Good evening. April brings back the start of our spring sports season, and our crews were busy with the recent start of soccer and performing daily ball field preps. Despite a delay in permitting from the state, Mother Nature has provided us with a great controlled burn season. Through last week, we're at over 50 acres completed so far and hoping to get a bit more done before things really green up out there. With the opening of the restroom at Central Park last week, all of our restroom facilities in the parks are now available for public use. Turf maintenance season is in full swing. Staff has been seeding, fertilizing, and broadly spraying, including our organic products and our 8 organic parks. Mowing crews have been busy for a couple of weeks, and our mowing contractor just started last week. The garden plots are still on pace to be ready for their May 1st opening. They just underwent their second tilling, and plot setup and layout started earlier today. And finally, a quick update on hiring. Unfortunately, we lost one of our full-time mechanics, and staff is still busy looking for part-time help.
Thanks. Any questions for Tim? No?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Planning and Development. Eric.
So as related at the April 16th Parks and Rec Committee meeting, Staff releases an annual status update related to the master plan of its goals and priorities listed under the district-wide guide section of the plan. As such, an updated list of district-wide guides, which are sorted by core values, will be released in an upcoming weekly packet to the board. The Park District's master plan incorporates elements of key documents such as the Community Interest and Opinion Survey, strategic plan, 3-year financial plan, in addition to other board-approved documents, many of which are included as appendices in the master plan. The master plan continues to serve as a mechanism to guide the organization in the future by directing growth and change. Also, it is important to note that the master plan is slated to be updated following review of the findings gathered from the 2022 Community Interest and Opinion Survey and market analysis. So you'll hear a lot more about this topic in the upcoming months and next year, but it's something that we will be looking at updating the master plan with the data we received from the survey and the market analysis next year.
Thanks. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Recreation. Brad.
Yeah, I have a few updates this evening. First, to begin with Centennial Beach, we have started our lifeguard training and conditioning. That takes place on Sundays at Naperville Central High School. Good start overall to the lifeguard recruitment. We have 59 lifeguards right now that have started training, and by the time we get to the start of the season, in a typical season, we would like to see about 50 guards. So we're in a fairly good place right now as we start the conditioning classes at the high school. With Centennial Beach, we received our invoice for the state license to be able to operate the facility, which is a promising sign that our license will be coming so that we can operate this summer. We are also in the process of working with DuPage County Health Department officials, as well as engaging the help of IAPD to assist with contacting and discussing guidelines for aquatics with IDPH down in Springfield. Right now, the guidelines that are posted out on the IDPH website were originally created and posted on June 26th of 2020. So we have not communicated out exactly what the season's going to look like yet, because we fully anticipate that there are going to be updates to those guidelines. And we do want to work with the health department officials in regards to having guidelines that make sense for Centennial Beach versus some of the other aquatic facilities that they work with. We will have a press release that will be issued shortly, just reminding residents that we do fully intend to be open this summer and to stay tuned for what the season will look like. We do anticipate operating with reduced capacities.
Hey, Brad, as you might recall at the Parks and Rec Committee, we talked about if we did have to take reservations or work at reduced capacity, we would, can you just fill in the rest of the board our conversation about residents versus non-residents if we came to a issue with capacity or reservations?
Sure. So with having to operate, we anticipate operating under capacities, reduced capacities as to what we've had in prior seasons, and that we will need to take reservations. So you will actually need to purchase your daily admission to Centennial Beach prior to arriving to the facility. And so we are working with our software to make sure that we're ready to be able to do that. And we would look to roll it out to where residents will get that first opportunity to make a reservation for Centennial Beach prior to non-residents being able to purchase that. So the details of that still all have to be ironed out once we know exactly what the guidelines are. But we fully plan to have it a situation where residents will get to the opportunity to reserve before non-residents.
Thanks, Brad. Anything else?
I've got a few other updates. If we're ready to move on from Centennial Beach. One of our other areas, the paddle boats, kayaks, and paddleboard rentals, we are scheduled to open those the first weekend in May. That's a little bit earlier than normal, but we want to get a jump on just the outdoor recreation season and have that available. If you've rented park facilities or you're going to be renting a park location in the near future, you'll see that we are in the process right now of transitioning all of our applications and licenses to an online form process so that individuals can actually submit those via the website versus having to visit one of our registration office locations. So that's an improvement that our customer service office is implementing. Through March, first quarter, our recreation participant financials, recreation programs in all areas as well as all facilities, we are currently tracking within $8,000 of our net revenue versus what was budgeted for 2021. You may recall that the 2021 budget for recreation was comprised of several assumptions in regards to programs, typically looking at about a 50% registration rate for indoor programs, 75% registration rate for outdoor programs. When we look at participation right now through the month of March, we're 41% down as compared to 2019. We're doing our comparisons to what a normal year looks like. So right now we're at 59% of our participation levels through that first quarter. And then just the last quick update, Earth Day is actually today. And we, the Park District, along with a number of other organizations in the community, celebrate Earth Week in Naperville. That's actually extending for several months with a number of different volunteer opportunities, activities, so on that will take place, culminating with even an Earth Day fair that we're looking to host at the end of June at the Knock Knolls Nature Center. So more information on that, but certainly a lot of volunteer opportunities out there for anyone who's interested in getting involved. That's all I have.
Any questions of Brad? No? Okay. All right. That takes care of department updates. Next is our next scheduled meeting. Regular meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners, May 13th, 2021, 7 p.m. in this room. We have no executive session tonight. Next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Move to adjourn the April 22nd, 2021 regular meeting.
Second.
Motion is second. This is a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you all.